Pisces, your next 7 days in one theme: clarity. The next 7 days hold a gift that most people will walk right past. But not you. Clarity is arriving for your sign, and if you lean into it, this single week could reshape the way you see yourself, your relationships, and the quiet decisions you have been putting off for far too long. This is not about dramatic change or turning your life upside down. This is about seeing clearly, truly clearly, the kind of clarity that settles into your chest like a deep breath after months of shallow breathing. You know that feeling when the fog lifts and suddenly you can see the road ahead? That is what this week is offering you. But here is the thing. Clarity does not force itself on anyone. It arrives softly. It whispers. And if you are too busy, too distracted, or too afraid to listen, it moves on. So right now, I am asking you to stay. Stay with this message. Let these words land where they need to land. Because what I am about to share with you is specific energy moving through your sign over the next 7 days, shaped around one powerful theme: clarity. Not someday clarity, the kind that begins tonight and builds with every sunrise this week. If you have been feeling lost, uncertain, or stuck in a loop of indecision, this is your moment. Let us begin. Tip 1. The first thing clarity is going to touch this week is the way you talk to yourself. And I do not mean affirmations or motivational phrases you repeat in the mirror. I mean the deep, quiet conversation that runs underneath everything you do. That voice that tells you whether you are enough, whether your choices matter, whether people truly see you or just see the version of you that you put forward to keep the peace. This week, that inner dialogue is going to shift. You are going to start noticing the things you say to yourself that are simply not true. Not because someone points them out, but because clarity has a way of making old lies feel uncomfortable. Like wearing a coat that no longer fits. You know it served you once. You know it kept you warm during a difficult season. But now it is too tight. Pulls at the shoulders. It restricts your movement. And this week, you are going to feel that restriction more than ever before. For years, many of you have carried a belief that you are too emotional, too sensitive, too much for the people around you. And because of that belief, you learn to shrink. You learn to hold back your feelings. You learn to smile when you wanted to cry, and to say everything is fine when everything was falling apart inside. That pattern started a long time ago, maybe in childhood, maybe in a relationship that taught you that your emotions were a burden. But here is what clarity is going to reveal this week. Your sensitivity is not your weakness. It never was. It is the very thing that makes you extraordinary. It is the reason you can walk into a room and feel what no one else feels. It is the reason you can look at someone and know they are hurting before they say a word. That is not a flaw. That is a superpower. And this week, you are going to start treating it like one. Now, I want you to pay attention to something specific. Over the next 2 or 3 days, you are going to catch yourself in the middle of a negative thought. Not after it has already done its damage. Right in the middle of it. You are going to hear yourself say something like, "I always mess this up," or "Nobody really cares," or "I should have known better." And for the first time in a long time, you are going to pause. You are going to ask yourself, is this actually true? Or is this just a story I have been telling myself for so long that it feels like the truth? That pause is everything. That single moment of awareness is where clarity begins to do its real work. Because once you see the lie, you cannot unsee it. Once you recognize that the voice in your head is not telling you the truth, it loses its power. Not all at once, not overnight, but steadily, quietly, like a light being turned up in a room that has been dim for too long. I also want you to understand that this shift in your inner dialogue is not just about feeling better. It is about making better decisions. When you stop telling yourself that you are not enough, you stop settling for less than you deserve. When you stop believing that your emotions are too much, you stop hiding the most authentic parts of who you are. And when you stop shrinking to make others comfortable, you start creating space for the life you have always wanted but never felt worthy of. This week, clarity is not just opening your eyes, it is opening your heart. And what you find inside is going to surprise you. Because underneath all that self-doubt, underneath all those years of playing small, there is someone remarkable, someone brave, someone who has survived every single thing that was supposed to break them. And that person is ready to stop surviving and start living. But there is something else clarity wants to show you. And it has to do with a relationship you have been avoiding an honest look at. Tip 2. The second area where clarity is going to move this week involves a relationship. And I am not necessarily talking romantic one, although it could be. This could be a friendship, a family connection, a bond with someone you have known for a very long time. Whatever the relationship is, there has been something unspoken sitting between you and this person. Something heavy, something that both of you feel but neither of you has been willing to name. This week, that silence is going to become unbearable. Not in a painful way, but in a way that makes you realize you simply cannot carry it anymore. The weight of what has not been said is heavier than the risk of saying it. And clarity is going to give you the courage to finally speak. Now, I want to be honest with you. This does not mean the conversation will be easy. It will not be. Honest conversations rarely are. But what I can tell you is that the outcome of this conversation is going to bring you peace. Not because the other person will say exactly what you want to hear. They might not, but because you will finally know where you stand. And there is a kind of freedom in that knowledge that nothing else can give you. You have been living in the gray area of this relationship for too long, wondering, guessing, filling in the blanks with your own fears and assumptions. This week, clarity is going to pull you out of that gray area and set you on solid ground. Whether that ground holds both of you or just you, either way, you will be standing on something real. Here is what I want you to watch for. There will be a moment this week, probably when you least expect it, when the opportunity for this conversation presents itself. It might come during a quiet evening. It might come during a phone call that was supposed to be casual. It might come during a silence that stretches a little too long. When that moment arrives, do not let it pass. Do not tell yourself you will bring it up later. Do not convince yourself the timing is not right. The timing is right because the moment is here. Clarity does not operate on your schedule. It operates on its own. And when it opens a door, you walk through it. You do not stand in the doorway debating. You do not look behind you. You walk through. I also want you to understand something important about this relationship dynamic. Many of you have been the one holding everything together. You have been the one making excuses for the other person. You have been the one adjusting, accommodating, bending so far that you forgot what standing straight feels like. This week, clarity is going to show you that love, real love, does not require you to lose yourself. Connection, real connection, does not demand that one person carries all the weight while the other walks freely. And if this relationship has been asking you to be less than who you are, then maybe the honest conversation is not about fixing things. Maybe it is about finally admitting what you have known in your heart for a while now. That is not a failure. That is wisdom. That is maturity. That is you choosing yourself after spending so long choosing everyone else. And regardless of what happens with this particular relationship, the clarity you gain this week is going to change how you show up in every relationship going forward. You will no longer wonder where you stand, because you will be standing in your truth. But there is another layer to this clarity that goes even deeper, and it has everything to do with something you have been ignoring about your daily habits. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. This week, clarity is going to shine a light on your daily routines, and some of you are not going to like what you see. That is okay. Clarity is not always comfortable. In fact, the most valuable clarity often comes with a sting, because it shows you the gap between where you are and where you say you want to be. And that gap, that is where your habits live. The little things you do every day without thinking. The patterns you have fallen into that feel harmless but are quietly keeping you stuck. This is the week you see them clearly. Not with judgment, not with guilt, but with awareness. And awareness is the first step toward change. Let me ask you something. How do you start your morning? Do you reach for your phone before your feet touch the floor? Do you scroll through other people's lives before you have even checked in with your own? Do you fill the first moments of your day with noise, with news, with worry about things that have not happened yet? Many of you do. Not because you are weak or undisciplined, but because it has become automatic. It is what you have always done. But this week, clarity is going to interrupt that pattern. You are going to wake up one morning and instead of reaching for the phone, you are going to lie still for a moment. You are going to take a breath. And in that breath, you are going to feel something you have not felt in a long time. Yourself. Your own energy. Your own presence. Without the filter of the outside world. That moment might last 10 seconds. It just a minute. But whatever it is going to feel different. It is going to feel like coming home. And from that moment forward, you are going to want more of it. You are going to start protecting the first minutes of your day like they are sacred. Because they are. The way you begin your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start in chaos, you spend the day chasing calm. If you start in peace, you carry that peace with you no matter what the day throws at you. This is not a theory. This is something your body already knows. Your nervous system already understands the difference. It has just been overridden by years of habit. But mornings are only the beginning. Clarity is also going to show you what you are doing in the evening hours that is stealing your rest. Staying up too late watching things that do not nourish you. Replaying conversations from the day in your mind. Worrying about tomorrow before tomorrow has arrived. These habits seem small, but they are the reason you wake up tired. They are the reason you feel like you never fully recharge no matter how many hours you sleep. This week, you are going to see that pattern with fresh eyes, and you are going to make one small change. Just one. Maybe you turn off the screen 30 minutes earlier. Maybe you end the day with a few slow breaths instead of a racing mind. Whatever it is, that one change is going to create a ripple that transforms your energy, your mood, and your ability to be present in the moments that matter most. I also want you to look at what you are consuming. And I do not just mean food, although that matters too. I mean what you are consuming with your eyes, your ears, your attention, the conversations you allow into your space, the energy of the people you spend time with. Clarity this week is going to make you sensitive to these things in a way you have not been before. You are going to notice when a conversation leaves you feeling heavy. You are going to notice when certain content makes your chest tight or your thoughts spiral. And instead of pushing through it, you are going to honor that awareness. You are going to choose differently, not out of fear, but out of respect for your own well-being. And that shift, as quiet as it is going to change more than you realize. But before you settle into these new patterns, there is something clarity wants to reveal about your relationship with money. And it might just be the most important insight of the entire week. Tip 4. Money. Let us talk about it. Because this week, clarity is going to shift the way you think about it, feel about it, and interact with it. And for many of you, this is the area where the fog has been thickest. Not because you are irresponsible, not because you do not work hard, but because somewhere along the way, you picked up beliefs about money that were never actually yours. They were handed to you by someone else. A parent who always said there is never enough. A culture that taught you that wanting more is greedy. An experience that made you feel like financial security was something that happened to other people but never to you. This week, those inherited beliefs are going to crack. And underneath them, you are going to find a truth that has been waiting for you. You are allowed to have more. You are allowed to feel safe. You are allowed to build something that lasts. I know that might sound simple, but for those of you who have spent years living in financial anxiety, hearing that you are allowed to feel safe around money is like hearing a language you forgot you once spoke. It stirs something deep. It touches a wound that has been covered over but never healed. And clarity this week is not going to heal it overnight, but it is going to name it. It is going to say, here. This is where the fear lives. This is the story you have been carrying. And now that you can see it, you can begin to release it. One of the things that is going to become very clear to you is the difference between spending out of fear and spending out of alignment. When you spend out of fear, you either hoard everything because you are terrified it will run out, or you spend recklessly because you do not believe it will stay anyway. Both of those patterns come from the same root, a belief that you are not safe. When you spend out of alignment, you make choices that reflect your values. You invest in things that matter. You release what does not serve you without panic. You trust that what flows out will flow back in a different form. This week, you are going to start seeing which pattern you have been living in. And that awareness alone is going to begin shifting things. I also want you to pay attention to a specific opportunity that is going to show up this week. It might be small. It might seem insignificant. A conversation about a project. An idea that pops into your head while you are doing something completely unrelated. A chance to contribute your skills in a way you have not considered before. Whatever it is, do not dismiss it. Clarity is showing it to you for a reason. It might not make you rich overnight, but it is the beginning of a new financial chapter. One where you are not just earning money but creating value from a place of purpose. And purpose-driven income feels different. It does not drain you. It does not leave you empty at the end of the day. It fills you up because it is connected to who you really are, not just what you can do. This is also a week to have an honest look at where your money goes. Not with harsh judgment, but with gentle curiosity. Are you spending in ways that reflect the life you want? Or are you spending to numb the life you have? That is a powerful question. And the answer, whatever it is your starting point. Not your shame. Your starting point. Clarity this week is giving you permission to begin again with money, to rewrite the story, to choose a new relationship with abundance that is rooted in worthiness, not worry. And as that financial fog begins to lift, something even more personal is going to come into focus. Your physical health and the messages your body has been trying to send you. Tip 5. Your body has been talking to you. It has been sending signals for weeks, maybe months, and this week clarity is going to turn up the volume so you can no longer pretend you do not hear. This is not about panic. This is not about fear. This is about paying attention. Your body is wise. It is the most honest part of you. It does not lie, it does not exaggerate, and it does not manipulate. When something is off, it tells you. The question is whether you are listening. And this week, you are going to listen. For some of you, this is about a persistent ache or tension that you have been ignoring. Something in your neck, your shoulders, your lower back. Something you have been managing with quick fixes instead of asking what it is trying to tell you. Tension in the body is almost always connected to tension in the mind. Your shoulders carry the weight of the responsibilities you refuse to share. Your back carries the burden of always being the strong one. Your jaw holds the words you have been swallowing instead of speaking. This week, clarity is going to connect those dots for you. And once you see the connection, you are going to approach your body differently. Not as something to push through the day, but as a partner that deserves care, rest, and attention. I want you to try something this week. It is simple, but it is powerful. Once a day, just once, stop what you are doing and scan your body from head to toe. Take 60 seconds. Start at the top of your head and slowly move your attention downward. Notice where you feel tight. Notice where you feel numb. Notice where you feel nothing at all. These sensations are information. They are telling you where you are holding stress, where you have disconnected, and where healing needs to happen. This practice is not complicated. It does not require special equipment or training. It just requires your willingness to be present with yourself for 1 minute out of the entire day. Now, there is another layer to this physical clarity that some of you need to hear. Your energy levels have been off. You have been running on empty and calling it normal. You have been pushing through exhaustion and wearing it like a badge of honor. But this week, clarity is going to show you that running on empty is not strength. It is slow self-destruction. You cannot pour from a cup that has been dry for months. And the people who depend on you, they do not need your exhaustion. They need your presence. They need you rested, grounded, and whole. That means saying no to some things so you can say yes to yourself. That means going to bed when your body says it is time instead of when the world says it is acceptable. That means eating in a way that fuels you instead of just filling you. Some of you also need to schedule that appointment you have been putting off. You know the one you keep telling yourself you will get to next month, next season, when things slow down. Things are not going to slow down on their own. You have to create the pause. You have to make the choice. And this week, clarity is going to give you the push you need. Not out of fear, but out of love. Love for the body that has carried you through every hard season. Love for the person you want to be in the years ahead. Love for the life that is waiting for you on the other side of one brave decision. Your body is not your enemy. It is your oldest ally. Treat it that way this week and watch how everything shifts. But while your body is recalibrating, there is something happening in your emotional world that clarity is about to illuminate. And it is connected to a feeling you have been carrying much longer than you realize. Tip 6. There is an old sadness living inside some of you. It is not loud. It does not scream or demand attention. It sits quietly in the background, like a low hum that has been playing so long you forgot it was there. But this week, clarity is going to bring it forward. Not to overwhelm you, not to break you open, but to finally acknowledge it. Because that sadness has been influencing everything. The way you love, the way you trust, the way you hold back when your heart wants to leap forward. And until you look at it, really look at it, it will continue to run your life from the shadows. This sadness might be connected to a loss. Someone you loved who is no longer here. A version of your life that ended before you were ready. a dream you had to let go of because the circumstances would not allow it. Whatever the source, the grief was never fully processed. You did what you had to do at the time. You kept going. You kept showing up. You kept putting one foot in front of the other because that is what you do. But there was never a moment where you sat down with that grief and said, I see you, I feel you, and I am finally ready to let you move through me instead of living inside me. This is that week. Clarity is creating a safe space within you, a pocket of stillness where this old emotion can finally be felt without fear. And I want you to know, it is safe to feel it. It is safe to cry. It is safe to sit in the heaviness for a moment and let it wash over you. Because grief that is felt is grief that can heal. Grief that is pushed down becomes weight. It becomes anxiety. It becomes the unexplainable fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix. It becomes the wall you built around your heart that keeps the wrong things out and the right things from getting in. Some of you might experience this as a sudden wave of emotion during an ordinary moment. You might be washing dishes or driving or sitting in a quiet room, and suddenly your eyes fill with tears and you do not know why. That is not random. That is clarity working. That is your soul finally feeling safe enough to release what it has been holding. Let it happen. Do not fight it. Do not analyze it. Just let it move through you the way water moves through a river. It does not need you to understand it. Just needs you to allow it. And here is what I want you to hold on to through this process. On the other side of this release is a lightness you have forgotten exists. A freedom that has been waiting behind the weight. A capacity for joy that has been muted by the sadness you have been carrying. This week is not about suffering. It is about liberation. It is about putting down a bag you have been carrying for years and finally feeling the relief of empty hands. Hands that are open. Hands that are ready to receive. Hands that are free to reach for something new. And what is waiting for you once those hands are open is going to surprise you, because the very next area clarity wants to touch is connected to your purpose, and it is going to answer a question you have been quietly asking for longer than you can remember. Tip 7. You have been asking yourself a question, maybe not out loud, maybe not even consciously, but somewhere deep within you there is a whisper that keeps repeating. What am I here for? Is this really all there is? Is there something more that I am supposed to be doing, creating, contributing? This week, clarity is going to answer that question. Not with a grand revelation or a neon sign pointing you in one direction, but with a quiet, unmistakable knowing. A feeling that settles into your bones and says, yes, this is where you are meant to be heading. For many of you, the confusion around purpose has not been about having too few options. It has been about having too many thoughts and not enough stillness to sort through them. Your mind has been so full of obligations, worries, expectations, and noise that the signal of your true purpose could not get through. But this week, as clarity does its work in all these other areas of your life, it is also creating space. Space in your mind, space in your heart, space in your daily routine. And in that space, purpose is going to make itself known. Here is what I need you to understand. Purpose does not always look the way you expect it to. It is not always a career or a calling or a grand mission. Sometimes purpose is the way you make someone feel safe. Sometimes it is the wisdom you pass on to a younger generation. Sometimes it is the art you create in the quiet hours when no one is watching. Sometimes it is simply the way you love. Not what you do for a living, but how you live. And for your sign, purpose has always been deeply connected to feeling. You feel things that other people cannot. You sense things that logic cannot explain. And this week, clarity is going to show you that this sensitivity, this depth, this is not a random trait. It is the very core of your purpose. I want you to think about the moments in your life when you felt most alive. Not the moments that looked impressive to the outside world. The moments that felt meaningful to you. The conversations where time seemed to stop. The creative work that made you lose track of hours. The times when you helped someone and felt a warmth in your chest that nothing else could replicate. Those moments are not accidents. They are breadcrumbs. They are your purpose showing you the way, piece by piece, experience by experience. And this week, clarity is going to connect those breadcrumbs into a path. You are going to see the thread that runs through all of those moments. And when you see it, you are going to understand that you have been on purpose your entire life. You just could not see it because you were too close to it. Now, this does not mean everything is going to change overnight. It does not mean you quit what you are doing and start something brand new tomorrow. What it means is that you begin to make choices from a place of alignment instead of obligation. You begin to say yes to the things that light you up and no to the things that dim your energy. You begin to build your days around what matters instead of what is expected. And that shift, gradual as it may be, is the beginning of a life that feels like yours. Not a life you inherited, not a life you stumbled into, a life you chose. And clarity this week is giving you the eyes to see it clearly for the first time. But purpose without peace is just another form of hustle. And what clarity wants to show you next is how to find a peace so deep that nothing outside of you can disturb it. Tip 8. Peace. Real peace. Not the kind that depends on everything going right. Not the kind that disappears the moment someone raises their voice or a plan falls apart. The kind of peace that sits at the center of you like a stone at the bottom of a river. The water rushes over it. The current pulls and pushes, but the stone does not move. That is the kind of peace clarity is offering you this week. And it begins with one simple but life-changing realization. You do not have to react to everything. Let me say that again. You do not have to react to everything. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every slight requires a defense. Not every storm requires you to stand in the rain. You have spent so much of your life absorbing the emotions of the people around you, feeling responsible for their moods, their reactions, their energy, that you forgot you have a choice. You can feel something without becoming it. You can notice a disturbance without letting it disturb your core. This is not about being cold or detached. It is about being grounded. It is about knowing the difference between empathy and enmeshment. You can care about someone without carrying their chaos. And this week, clarity is going to teach you how. The lesson is going to come through a real situation. Something is going to happen this week, probably in the next 3 or 4 days, that would normally throw you off balance. Someone is going to say something hurtful, or a situation is going to unfold in a way you did not expect. And in that moment, instead of your usual reaction, you are going to feel a stillness inside. A pause. A space between what happened and how you choose to respond. That space is peace. That space is power. And once you discover it, you are going to want to live there. I want you to practice something this week. When you feel your emotions starting to rise, when you feel the heat in your chest or the tightness in your throat, take 3 slow breaths before you do anything. 3 breaths. That is all. In those 3 breaths, you are creating the space for clarity to speak. You are giving your wisest self a chance to show up instead of your most reactive self. And what your wisest self knows, what it has always known, is that most of the things that upset you are not really about you. They are about the other person's pain, the other person's fear, the other person's unhealed wounds being projected onto the nearest available target. And you do not have to be that target. You can step aside. You can let the arrow fly past you instead of catching it and driving it deeper into your own heart. This week is also going to reveal to you the environments and situations that consistently steal your peace, the places where your energy drops, the conversations that always leave you drained, the obligations that fill you with dread instead of purpose. Clarity is going to make these energy leaks impossible to ignore, and it is going to give you the courage to start plugging them, not all at once, but one by one, starting with the one that costs you the most. You know which one it is. You have known for a while. You just were not ready to do anything about it. This week you are ready. And on the other side of that decision is a level of inner calm that you have been craving for years. But peace is only half the equation. What you do with that peace is going to determine the shape of your next chapter. And clarity has something extraordinary to show you about the creative potential that has been sleeping inside you. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. There is a creative force inside you that has been dormant. Maybe not fully asleep, but definitely not fully awake. It stirs from time to time. You feel it when you hear a piece of music that moves you so deeply your eyes close involuntarily. You feel it when you see something beautiful in nature, and your heart aches with a longing you cannot name. You feel it late at night when the world is quiet and ideas float through your mind like leaves on water. That creative energy is real. It is not a fantasy. It is not a luxury reserved for artists and musicians. It is a fundamental part of who you are. And this week, clarity is going to wake it up. Creativity for your sign is not just about making things. It is about expressing the inner world that is so rich, so deep, so vast that words often feel inadequate. You experience life on a level that most people do not even know exists. You see colors where others see gray. You hear music in silence. You feel the weight of the unspoken in every room you walk into. That sensitivity, that depth of perception, that is the raw material of creation. And it has been sitting inside you unused, unshared, unseen for far too long. This week, clarity is going to nudge you toward an act of creation. It does not matter what form it takes. It could be writing words in a journal that no one will ever read. It could be arranging flowers on a table with an attention to beauty that transforms an ordinary moment into something sacred. It could be cooking a meal with such love and intention that the people who eat it feel nourished in ways they cannot explain. It could be a song hummed under your breath while you watch the sunset. Whatever it is, do not dismiss it as unimportant. It is the most important thing you will do this week. Because when you create, you connect to the deepest part of yourself. The part that existed before the self-doubt. The part that knew without question that you had something beautiful to offer the world. Now, some of you have stopped creating because someone once told you that what you made was not good enough. A teacher who criticized instead of encouraged. A partner who dismissed your efforts. A society that told you creativity was impractical and that you should focus on things that matter. Let me tell you something this week. That voice was wrong. Every creation you have ever made mattered. Every poem you wrote and threw away mattered. Every painting you started and never finished mattered. Not because of the product, but because of the process. Because in the act of creating, you were being the most honest version of yourself. You were letting your inner world breathe. And that is never ever wasted. This week, give yourself permission to create without judgment. Create badly. Create messily. Create something that no one will ever see if that makes you feel safer. But create. Let that dormant energy move through you and out of you. Let it take whatever shape it wants. Do not control it, do not edit it, do not critique it while it is still being born. Just let it flow. Because that flow is going to open something inside you that has been closed. A channel. A current, a connection to a part of yourself that holds so much beauty, you have barely scratched the surface. And once that channel is open, everything else begins to flow more easily too. Your relationships become more authentic because you are being more authentic. Your decisions become clearer because you are more connected to your intuition. Your energy becomes lighter because you are no longer carrying the weight of unexpressed truth. Creativity is not separate from clarity. It is a vehicle for it. And this week, you are getting behind the wheel. But there is one more area where clarity has a message for you, and it might be the most practical and grounding insight of all. It is about the future you have been afraid to plan for. Tip 10. Let us talk about the future. Not in abstract terms, not in someday language. The real, tangible, buildable future that is waiting for you on the other side of this week. Because clarity is not just about seeing the present more clearly. It is about having the vision to see where you are heading and the courage to steer. And for too long, many of you have been drifting. Not because you are lazy or unmotivated, but because you were afraid. Afraid that if you set a clear direction and move toward it, you might fail. Afraid that wanting something specific would only lead to disappointment. So instead, you kept things vague. You said things like, I just want to be happy, or whatever is meant to be will be. And while those sentiments are beautiful, they are also a way of hiding from the responsibility of choosing. This week, clarity is going to ask you to choose. Choosing does not mean you have to have every detail figured out. It does not mean you need a 10-year plan or a flawless strategy. It means you need a direction, a North Star, one clear intention that pulls you forward instead of the scattered wishes that keep you spinning in circles. This week, you are going to feel drawn towards something specific, a goal, a vision, a way of living that makes your heart beat a little faster when you think about it. When that feeling comes, do not push it away. Do not tell yourself it is too late or too big or too unrealistic. Just hold it, feel it, let it settle into your bones, because that feeling is your future calling to you, and clarity is making sure you can hear it. Now, here's where this gets practical. Once you identify that direction, even if it is just a whisper of an idea, I want you to take one small step toward it this week. Just one. Could be as simple as writing it down. It could be having a conversation with someone who has walked a similar path. It could be clearing a space in your home, or your schedule that signals to the universe you are ready. That one small step is not about achieving the goal this week. It is about breaking the pattern of inaction. It is about telling yourself through your behavior that you are serious. That this is not just another daydream you will forget about next month. This is something you are actively moving toward. I also want to address the fear that comes up when you think about the future. The fear that says it is too late, that you have missed your window, that the best years are behind you. Let me be absolutely clear about this. That fear is a liar. Your best years are determined by your willingness to show up, not by a number on a calendar. Some of the most meaningful chapters in any life story begin when the person finally stops listening to the voice that says it is too late and starts listening to the voice that says it is time. This is your time. This week, this month, this season. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally clear enough to see what matters and brave enough to reach for it. And here is one more thing I need you to hear about the future. It is not just for you. The life you build from this point forward is also for the people who are watching you, the ones who look to you for guidance, for inspiration, for proof that it is possible to start over, to grow, to become more than what your circumstances suggested. You might not realize it, but you are already a lighthouse for someone. And when you step fully into your clarity, when you move with purpose and peace and conviction, the light you cast is going to reach people you have never even met. That is the ripple effect of one person choosing to live clearly. Changes everything around it. And it starts right here, right now, with you. This week is not ordinary. This week is a turning point. And I know that because of everything we have walked through together in this message, you have seen your inner dialogue with new eyes. You have confronted the truth of a relationship that needed honesty. You have examined your habits and chosen awareness over autopilot. You have started rewriting your story with money. You have listened to your body. You have felt the old grief and allowed it to begin healing. You have reconnected with your purpose. You have found a peace that does not depend on perfection. You have awakened the creative spirit that was sleeping inside you. And you have looked toward the future with clarity instead of fear. That is not a small thing. That is a revolution. A quiet, powerful, deeply personal revolution happening inside of you right now, as you hear these words. And the beautiful thing about this kind of change is that it does not require anyone else's permission. It does not require perfect conditions. It only requires your willingness, your openness, your decision to see clearly and act accordingly. I want you to carry this energy with you through every day of the coming week. When you wake up, remind yourself, clarity is here. When you face a difficult choice, ask yourself, what does clarity say? When you feel the pull of old patterns trying to drag you back, place your hand on your chest and remember, you are not that person anymore. You are the person who sees. You are the person who knows. You are the person who chooses deliberately, loves deeply, and lives with intention. The universe is not asking you to be perfect this week. It is asking you to be present. It is asking you to trust that the clarity you are receiving is not random. It is designed specifically for you, for this moment, for this chapter of your story. And your story is far from over. The most beautiful pages have not been written yet. They are waiting for you, blank and open and full of possibility. All you have to do is pick up the pen. And you do that by deciding right now that this week will not be like the ones before. That you will hold these insights, practice them, live them, one day at a time, one breath at a time, one clear, conscious choice at a time. You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.